Hi everybody, I'm back for my next video. This week's video is more about a story about when the first time that I started noticing my Tourette's, and not on a viewer question. I thought it would be a good story to tell everybody and an important one because of the first moment that my body and that I knew as a young girl that something wasn't quite right with myself. Um, I remember the moment pretty much clear as day. I can look back, when I look back on it, I almost feel like I'm in that time again because I just remember every single detail. It was a scary moment for me because I had no idea what was happening, and it was the first time I felt completely out of control and that something else was taking over my body, which technically it was. We were on my way home from my grandma's house. She was babysitting my brother and I, I'm pretty sure. And on our way home, I was sitting in the front seat next to my mom while she was driving us home. And I remember I was just looking out the window, as you do in the car, and I started to get this really weird feeling in my stomach. Like my stomach had to move, and I really wasn't sure what was going on. My body was telling me that I needed to do it, and especially then, it was an extremely uncomfortable feeling because even now, almost 20 or 20 some years into Tourette syndrome, it's still a feeling that's really undescribable. It's just like I get this feeling in the pit of my stomach and this weird message almost in my brain telling me like you have to do this no matter what. And I started getting that, and I knew like my stomach had to move. I felt the urge to contract my stomach and tighten it up and then let it go again. And I kept feeling this feeling, and I remember thinking, what is happening to me? And I remember thinking, if I just ignore it, if I just pay attention to the trees going by, the other cars going by, I'll forget about it, no big deal. So I'm looking out the window, and this feeling just keeps returning. It's not going away, and it's getting worse and worse. The urge to do it is getting worse and worse. So eventually, I just told myself that I'll do it, no big deal. I do it once, it'll go away, never have to think about it again. So I do it, I let it all out, and I feel the release of it. And it felt good in a way because my brain was at ease and my stomach was at ease because I did what I was supposed to do. Now, after I did it, I didn't think anybody would see me doing it because I was just moving my stomach, but it did move my whole body in a way. My mom asked me what I was doing, and me being a little kid and not knowing what I was doing, I was afraid to say, I don't know. Not that my mom would have gotten mad or anything, but I didn't know what I was doing, so I couldn't explain. So I just told her nothing, and I went back to looking out the window. I figured it wasn't going to happen again, so who cares? And I wasn't going to be able to explain it anyways. So I'm sitting in the car, still thinking that that's never going to happen again, and the feeling comes back. The urge to move my stomach comes back again, and it's almost even stronger this time. And I'm starting to get really scared at this point because I really don't know what's happening to my body, and I don't want it to be happening because most kids or most people, they have complete control over their bodies. Their bodies don't make them do things they don't want to do. But for me, that wasn't the case. But I didn't know it at the time that I had something that took away my own control. And so being a 6-year-old girl, almost 7, that was a very scary thing, but I was just trying to deal with it internally and trying not to vocalize it because I had no idea what was happening, and so I wouldn't be able to explain it to anybody else. So some time goes by and I do it again. I had to let myself do it. The pressure became too much and I had to let it out again. And I think that one was a little bit bigger than the first time, so of course my body moved again. And my mom asked me again, Brittany, what are you doing? And once again, me not knowing, I told her I don't know. Or I told her nothing, I'm sorry. Because to me it was nothing. I didn't know what it was, so if I just pretended like it was nothing, it wouldn't be anything. Now, little did I know my mom was asking me that because for some time before that, she had noticed my body doing things like that. She noticed me not quite sitting still when, like, I was sitting watching TV or other situations like that, and she had already been keeping an eye on me. So I think she was just looking to see what I would tell her I was doing. Obviously, I didn't know, so once again, I kept saying nothing. And eventually, all those led to a neurologist appointment, and I went for I believe a year, maybe a little over. I think it was a year until finally when I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. And ever since then, to me, it was just an explanation to what my body was doing. It wasn't really, it was a big deal, I think, but my parents didn't let it seem like it was a big deal to me, so I didn't think something was wrong with me. For me, I just took it as it was an answer as to why my body was doing something that I couldn't control. It hasn't been a fun experience, and that day was really scary for me, and it was new and uncomfortable, and every tick ever since is always uncomfortable. But I think it was an important story to tell because it was one of the more defining moments for me with my Tourette syndrome, because it was the very first time that I noticed something was wrong and something wasn't right. And so many people can brush those kind of feelings off, just like I was doing. And so many people forget the scary feeling it can be for a child while they have Tourette's, because you don't have control of your body and you never know what's going to happen next. And as an adult, sometimes it's scary, and as a child, it's even more scary, especially when you don't know you have Tourette syndrome yet. So I just wanted to share that story with you. I'm going to try and share a little more stories from the beginning part of my life with Tourette syndrome and being diagnosed and stuff like that, because I think it's also an important message to share with everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this one. That's all I have for today. Please, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or email me. I've been getting a lot of emails lately, and I promise I read them all. I'm going to try to get back to all of you as soon as I can, so I apologize if it takes a while, but your emails and your kind words mean the world to me. So please keep emailing me if you want to. Please keep asking questions, and please keep sharing, liking, and subscribing to my page. Every share helps me to spread the word about Tourette syndrome even more, and it is working. We are teaching people, we are educating people, and every share helps that. So I appreciate all my viewers out there, and I appreciate for you watching my videos, and until next time.